We're racing then with David Tonitza ahead of Danny Moreno. He's the driver you're on board with right now. Marcel Kiefer, P3. It's line astern. The dive is coming from Alvaro Caraton, who I think was dueling it out. Oh, and there's contact in the background there as off goes one of the Williams, but it's the race lead for David Tonitza. He's being chased down by Danny Moreno.
Full damage for these guys. There'll be no damage later on, but the esports guys are using exactly what they would have in the Pro Series. Tonitza leading from the front. He was not last year's champion, but he was the year before, so Tonitza knows how to lead from the front right now. Ahead of Moreno. Big move for Danny Moreno, going from McLaren to Mercedes this year, and huge high hopes for Danny Moreno and a very strong start up in P2. Kiefer P3, Rasmussen, his teammate, down in 10th. Who was definitely a championship contender in the Pro Series, but right now you'll see these intervals. It's only a 5-lap race. The moves have to be made very quickly, and there is great opportunities with how close this field is.
Yeah, no real incentives for the drivers to hold back now. So David Tonitza is qualifying this car for Marcus Armstrong. Marcus Armstrong, who's been a runner-up in the Formula 3 Championship in the past, racing in Formula 2, as we look at the move there between the Haas and Freddie Rasmussen battling it out there, and it is side by side coming all the way up the hill. We're looking at Josh Adowo in the McLaren heading up to turn number 3 in 6th position, and Josh Adowo is qualifying that car for Jimmy Broadbent in the half-distance virtual Grand Prix later on. If it finished like it is right now, David Tonitza would put Marcus Armstrong on pole ahead of Anthony Davidson alongside him on the front row, but we've still got a bit of time on the clock. Tonitza looking very comfortable though. Danny Moreno making that move to Mercedes. Marcel Kiefer's been with Red Bull for a while in P3. He helped take that team to the team championship in the F1 Esports Pro Series last year. And we're just looking at the concentration for Danny Moreno, who had a great breakthrough season with McLaren, moves on to Mercedes, and he's not letting David Tonitza get away as we go on to lap 3 already.
Yeah, this is flying by, isn't it? 5 laps around here, goes by with a blink of an eye. For the second row at the moment, Kiefer is representing Alex Albon, and Brendan Lee is representing Arthur Leclerc. This is setting up the feature race beautifully, in my opinion. Alex Albon very quick last time out in the virtual Grand Prix, so Arthur Leclerc. So this could be very interesting indeed. Fabrizio Donoso down in 9th at the moment, coming under pressure from Cedric Tomei. And, well, right now, it's just so difficult. The DRS is now enabled. There's a big gap between Adowu and Baldwin. So right now, the best that Donoso can hope for is P7 at the moment.
Yeah, Fabrizio Donoso, runner-up in the past, in the very first year of F1 Esports.
It was ages ago now, that. Back when we went to Abu Dhabi.
Ages ago. And he is qualifying the car for Christian Lunga in the Alpine there. Racing in last year's livery.
Oh, look at the smile. Marcel Kiefer having a great time.
They don't normally look this chilled out. They are normally super intense. They're having fun with this one. He's catching Danny Moreno. He's trying to put that Red Bull on the front row.
The thing is, you know, Marcel Kiefer, you might think, oh, you know, he's having a laugh. He's not really pushing too hard. I guarantee these guys are going much quicker than anybody else in the world right now. As Fabrizio Donoso all over the back of Jarno Otmir, last year's champ.
Last year's champion, another driver to switch teams, as you heard from Tom earlier on. There's the late braking move from Donoso, who gets alongside but isn't able to take that 8th position. Fabrizio Donoso with a penalty. That's what the black and white flag means on the left-hand side. Here's a move further down the field. So Donoso had a half look, and Cedric Tomei trying to take that position away. Cedric Tomei qualifying for one of the Fittipaldis later on, because both Hasses are being represented by that famous racing surname, and still it's as you were. Half moves being completed, but right now not enough. And I can tell you that Cedric Tomei is qualifying for Enzo Fittipaldi, the Formula 3 driver, and not the F1 driver for the last 2 races of the year. As we come across the line onto the final lap of the race. This race start was so important then, and David Tonitza does not look at this stage, no need for the commentator's curse this early in the season. He doesn't look like he's going to be caught though.
He doesn't indeed. He's going to have to get past this next DRS zone after turn 3. And here's a move, potentially Brendan Lee looking to the outside of Marcel Kiefer. Nothing doing, but he'll get DRS once again. This is for the front of the second row of the grid, P3.
Brendan Lee trying to put Arthur Leclerc ahead of the Red Bull on the grid. He's up to P3 for the moment. He goes to the inside, but Marcel Kiefer isn't going to give him the room. It's all getting very Hamilton and Albon there, but they're still next to each other, wheel to wheel, as we go into the technical part of the circuit, and Brendan Lee finds his way by.
Oh, he looks good in Ferrari colours, doesn't he, Brendan? Up to P3, makes a move on Marcel Kiefer, and saying, hey, look, when Pro Series comes around towards the end of this year, I'll be there. Here's David Tonitza, his teammate.
David Tonitza has found his way to the final corner. He's done his part for Ferrari today. He's crossed the line in first position and put that car on pole as Brendan Lee makes it a Ferrari 1-3 and weaves across the line. David Tonitza does the job and puts Marcus Armstrong on pole for the virtual Grand Prix later on. And it was fast, it was furious, it was frenetic, and we have a Ferrari on pole.